Hey friends, if you are a green card holder, permanent resident, or living in the U.S. on any non-citizen status, please listen very carefully. You now have just weeks to prepare for major changes coming in 2026 that could directly affect your Social Security benefits, your legal status, and even your ability to stay in the United States. Yes, this is urgent, and no, this is not exaggeration. There is a lot of confusion online right now. People are mixing rumors with facts, partial headlines with full laws, and that's dangerous. I don't want anyone to wake up in January and realize they misunderstood something that could have been prepared for. So today we're breaking everything down clearly. What this new 2026 Social Security related law actually does, why green card holders are especially affected, what's helpful, what's concerning, and what actions you should take right now to protect yourself and your family. And stay with me until the end, because I'll also address the biggest question flooding the comments. Will green card holders still qualify for Social Security, disability, or any future stimulus-style payments under this new law? I'll give you the honest, no-hype answer. Take a deep breath, maybe grab a pen, because this is important information about your future. For those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Tony, and for years I've helped immigrants, seniors, and disabled individuals understand Social Security, SSI, SSDI, and immigration-related benefit rules in plain English. I read the fine print so you don't have to, and today we're doing exactly that. Also, drop a comment and let me know which city and state you're watching from. Alright, let's get into it. This new law ties immigration status more tightly than ever to Social Security and federal benefits. For years, green card holders believed they were mostly protected as long as they worked, paid taxes, and followed the law. And while that was mostly true before, 2026 marks a major shift. Under the new law, the federal government is standardizing how non-citizens are treated across programs, including Social Security, disability, and eligibility reviews. Green card holders are now legally grouped as non-citizens for enforcement purposes. That single definition change has huge consequences. Change 1. Green card holders are no longer treated separately. Before this law, permanent residents had a special status when it came to benefits and enforcement. Now, green card holders are grouped together with visa holders, students, and other non-citizens. Why does this matter? Because it gives the government broader authority to review, pause, or revoke benefits if your status is questioned, even if you've lived here for decades. Change 2. Social Security eligibility is still there, but with more scrutiny. Let me be clear, because fear spreads fast online. If you are a green card holder who has worked legally and paid into Social Security, you do not automatically lose your benefits. However, under the new law, eligibility reviews will increase. That means more frequent status verification, more documentation requests, stricter checks when applying for retirement, SSDI, or survivor benefits. Mistakes, missing paperwork, or status issues can now delay or suspend payments while reviews happen. Change. 3. Good moral character now affects benefits. This is one of the biggest changes. The new law strengthens the requirement of good moral character for non-citizens receiving or applying for federal benefits. Certain offenses, especially DUIs, now trigger serious consequences. A single DUI can disqualify you from future benefit expansions, trigger inadmissibility reviews, put your green card status at risk. Even admissions matter. What you say to police, judges, or officials can now follow you into immigration and Social Security decisions. Change 4. Travel risks for green card holders. If you receive Social Security or disability and travel outside the U.S., this law raises the stakes. Re-entry reviews will now include criminal history, benefit usage, moral character findings. One issue at the border can pause benefits or trigger proceedings. This is especially important for seniors who travel to visit family. Change 5. SSI and SSDI reviews tighten. If you're a green card holder on SSI or SSDI, expect more frequent continuing disability reviews, stricter income and work monitoring. Closer checks on residency and status SSI in particular is means tested, and errors can now result in overpayment claims or termination faster than before. Change. 6. Citizenship becomes the only true protection. This law sends a clear message. Permanent residency is no longer the finish line. Citizenship is. U.S. citizens are not subject to these new enforcement rules. Green card holders are. If you are eligible to apply for citizenship and have been delaying it, this law is your warning sign. Change 7. What about stimulus or future payments? This is the question everyone asks. Here's the truth. Green card holders may still qualify for future stimulus-style payments, but eligibility will depend on status, income, and moral character. Nothing is guaranteed under the new framework. Do not plan your budget around stimulus money. If it comes, it's a bonus, not a promise. Your action plan, starting now. Here's what I recommend every green card holder do immediately. Avoid legal trouble at all costs, especially DUIs. Review your social security records on SSA. Gov. Keep copies of all immigration documents. Do not travel internationally without understanding the risks. Apply for citizenship if eligible. Consult an immigration or benefits expert before making changes under this new system. For the first time in history, Democrats and Republicans came together to push through a massive immigration reform while Donald Trump is back in the White House. No one saw this level of cooperation coming. No one expected the details inside this new law to be this tough. And no one expected a simple mistake, something as common as a DUI, to become a life-changing event that could cost you everything. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear will affect millions of families, and it may change the future you imagined in America. Now that we've opened the door to this conversation, let's take our bipartisan shock, Democrats and Republicans unite time, and walk through every part of this reform together. I want you to feel calm, informed, and prepared. This isn't about fear. This is about clarity. When laws change this dramatically, the best thing you can do is understand exactly what they mean, how they work, and what steps you can take to protect yourself and your loved ones. So, let's settle in and break this down piece by piece. The first major change this reform brings is something many immigrants were not expecting. Under the new law, anyone who is not a U.S. citizen will now be labeled as a non-citizen. This may sound like asmal detail, but it comes with what this reform means for all non-citizens' consequences. Before this reform, green card holders were generally treated differently from other immigrants. They had more security, more rights, and a lot more stability. But now, under the law just passed, green card holders will be on the same playing field as temporary visa holders, international students, workers, and almost everyone else who hasn't become a citizen yet. This shift is significant because it means the government can apply stricter rules to all non-citizens without making exceptions. For a long time, many permanent residents felt that their green card was a kind of shield, a promise that they could stay in the United States as long as they followed the rules. But the truth is, immigration law has always allowed the government to revoke a green card in certain situations. What's different now is how green card holders are no longer fully protected. Far that authority has been expanded, and how easily a person can lose their status. One of the biggest and most controversial pieces of this reform focuses entirely on DUIs, driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs. In the past, a DUI might have led to fines, classes, or community service. It depended on the state and the specific situation. Many people continued living their lives afterward without imagining the immigration consequences it might carry. But under this new law, a single DUI, just one, has become a grounds for inadmissibility and automatic deportation. Let's talk about what inadmissible really means. If an immigrant is deemed inadmissible, it means the U.S. government has the right to deny them entry into the country, even if they already live here. It sounds confusing, but here's how it works. If you travel abroad and try to come back, expansion of government power to revoke status, you may be stopped at the border. Even more shocking, you can be labeled inadmissible without ever leaving the country simply because the law says you no longer qualify to stay. And under this reform, a DUI, whether it's a conviction, an admission, or even acknowledging the elements of the offense, is enough to trigger this label. The wording of the law is strikingly strict. It doesn't matter how your state treats the offense. Some states consider DUI a misdemeanor, some treat it as a low-level offense, and others handle it more aggressively. But now, none of that matters. Federal law overrides state law, and the federal government is treating every DUI the same way, as a deportable offense for the most controversial rule, DUI, deportation, non-citizens. Think about that for a moment. someone who has lived in the United States for 20 or 30 years, someone who has paid taxes, raised children here, worked here, bought a home, and contributed to their community. If that person makes one mistake behind the wheel, they could lose everything. Not only their green card, but also their ability to return to the country they've built their life in. The reform leaves no room for second chances. What makes this even more alarming is that the law includes not only convictions, but also admissions. Many immigrants don't realize that simply telling an officer, a judge, or even an immigration agent that they consumed alcohol before driving can count as an admission. In some cases, even acknowledging that you understand the basic elements of a DUI offense, such as operating a vehicle under the what inadmissible means under this law influence, can be held against you. This means thousands of people who never thought they were in danger could suddenly find themselves facing immigration consequences. Now, you might be wondering why Congress decided to take such a harsh stance. Lawmakers say the goal is to protect American citizens. They argue that driving under the influence puts lives at risk and that the government should prioritize the safety of everyone on the road. By making DUI an automatic disqualifier for non-citizens, Congress believes it will reduce dangerous behavior and encourages stricter compliance with the law. Whether or not you agree with their reasoning, this is the direction leadership has chosen, and it's important to understand how deeply it impacts the immigrant community. But this reform federal law overrides state law on DUIs isn't only about punishment. There's another side to it that offers real opportunity. Congress has created a new path forward for millions of immigrants who have been waiting years, sometimes decades, for a chance to legalize their status. The reform includes updated processing rules, new immigration categories, and a potential road to work authorization for people who previously had none. For many families, this part of the law feels like long overdue progress. However, the opportunity comes with a very clear warning. To qualify for any of these benefits, immigrants must demonstrate good moral character. This term has existed in immigration law for a long time, but under the new real-life impact, one mistake could cost everything reform. Its definition has tightened dramatically. A DUI now automatically disqualifies someone from being considered of good moral character. That means you cannot apply for citizenship, cannot renew certain immigration benefits, and cannot access the new programs created under this reform. It's a complete barrier, and it stays on your record for years. This is why so many immigration experts are calling the new law a turning point. Not because it closes the door completely, but because it raises the standards in ways that will affect millions of people for many immigrants, especially older individuals who have lived in the U.S. for decades. This reform is a reminder that citizenship is the only true protection. Green cards offer security, but only up to a point. And now that point has become sharper than ever. What makes this moment even more significant is why admissions are now dangerous, that the reform passed with bipartisan support. Democrats and Republicans came together to approve one of the strictest, most sweeping immigration actions the U.S. has ever seen, all while Donald Trump sits in the Oval Office once again. This level of cooperation is rare, and it signals that both parties want stricter enforcement paired with new options for legal status. It is an interesting combination. Hope on one side and consequences on the other. For immigrants watching from the outside, it can feel overwhelming. Many are scared. Many feel uncertain. Many worry about their family's future. That's completely understandable. But it's also important to remember that knowledge is power. Understanding these new rules gives you the ability to protect yourself and make good decisions. If you're a green card Congress says this is about protecting Americans holder, the message is simple. Stay vigilant. Follow the law. Avoid risky situations. Don't drive if you've had a drink. Don't assume that old rules still apply. The stakes have changed and the consequences are now more severe than ever before. If you have family members who are immigrants, children, siblings, parents, make sure they understand this as well. Sometimes the biggest danger is believing that a small mistake doesn't matter. Under this reform, it matters more than ever. And if you've been thinking about applying for citizenship but kept putting it off, now is the time to take action. Citizenship is the only way to fully protect your future in the United States. It gives you rights that the positive side, new paths and new opportunities, no law can take away, and shields you from the immigration consequences that non-citizens now face. In the end, this reform is both a warning and an opportunity. It tightens the rules, but it also opens new doors. Understanding the balance between those two sides is the key to navigating this new chapter in American immigration. And as always, we'll be here to keep you updated, informed, and prepared for whatever comes. If you're on Social Security or disability benefits, listen up. You now have exactly 3 weeks to prepare for the changes coming in 2026 that are going to affect your monthly check. Yes, just 3 weeks left. And I need you to understand what's happening because some of this is frustrating, some of it is helpful, and all of it impacts your budget. I'm seeing so much confusion out there. People getting bits and pieces of information, and I don't want anyone caught off guard when January 1st hits. So today we're breaking down all 7 major changes, the good, the bad, and what you can actually do about it. And stick around because at the end of this video, I'm also answering your biggest questions about the stimulus check situation that everyone's been asking about in the comments. Who's eligible? When's it coming? Is it even real? I'm going to give you the honest truth about all of it. So take a deep breath, maybe grab a notepad, and let's walk through this together because you deserve to know exactly what's happening with your money. For those of you who are new here, welcome to Retirees Benefits. My name is Tony and I've spent years helping people just like you navigate the confusing world of government benefits. I've been where many of you are, trying to make every dollar stretch, dealing with paperwork that makes no sense, and feeling like the system is designed to keep you in the dark. I break down complicated policy into plain English because nobody should need a law degree to understand the programs they depend on. I talk to experts, I read the fine print, and I translate it all for you. I've helped thousands of people maximize their benefits. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. Also, please write in comment section from which city and state you are watching my video. All right, let's get into the details. There are 7 critical changes happening on January 1st, 2026. Change 1, the COLA increase, and why it's disappointing. Let's start with the big one, the cost of living adjustment. The Social Security Administration approved a 2.8% COLA for 2026. Now, I know a lot of you were hoping for more, and honestly, I understand that frustration. Here's what that means in real dollars. If you're on Social Security retirement benefits, your average monthly check is going from $19.75 to $231. That's an increase of $56 per month. For couples receiving Social Security, you're going from an average of $3,120 to $38, an $88 increase. Now, if you're on Social Security disability insurance, otherwise known as SSDI, your average benefit goes from $1,586 to $1,630. That's only a $44 increase per month. And for those of you on Supplemental Security Income SSI, your maximum federal benefit is going from $967 to $994. It's not even reaching $1,000. Think about that for a second. They're expecting people to live an entire month on less than $1,000. I don't know about where you live, but that doesn't even cover rent in 3/4 of this country, let alone food, utilities, and medication. For SSI couples, it's even tougher. You're going from $1,450 to $1,191 per month. Change to maximum benefit at full retirement age. If you're wondering what the maximum Social Security benefit is at full retirement age, it's going up from $4.18 to $4,152 per month. Now, most people aren't getting that maximum, but it's good to know what the ceiling is. Change 3, taxable income limit. Each year, Social Security releases information about who pays taxes into the system and how much. For 2026, if you're earning wages, you'll pay Social Security taxes on income up to $174,900. That's up from $168,600 in 2025. Now, this doesn't affect most people watching this video, but if you're still working and earning good money, just know that's the new limit where Social Security taxes stop being deducted from your paycheck. Change 4, substantial gainful activity limits. Critical for disability. This one is super important if you're on disability benefits. If you're in your trial work period and you're trying to work a little bit, you cannot make more than $1,210 per month without risking your disability benefit. Let me say that again for the folks in the back. $1,210 per month is the limit. Go over that and you could jeopardize your entire disability check. So if you're working part-time or trying to supplement your disability income, you need to track every single dollar you earn. Change 5, Medicare Part B premium increase. Here's where it gets frustrating. Medicare Part B premiums are going up from $185 per month to $195.60. That's roughly a $10 increase per month. Now do the math with me here. Your Social Security is going up by about $56, but Medicare is taking $10 of that right off the top. So your actual net increase is closer to $46 per month for the average retiree. And here's the question we're all asking. Why is Medicare going up by about 10% when Social Security is only going up by 2.8%? I've been asking that question too, and I haven't gotten a good answer. It doesn't make sense, and you're right to be frustrated about it. Change 6 earnings limits. If you're still working while receiving Social Security and you haven't reached your full retirement age yet, pay attention to this one. In 2026, you can earn up to $24,180 per year without losing any of your Social Security benefit. But here's the catch. For every $2 you earn above that limit, you lose $1 of your Social Security benefit. Now, if 2026 is the year you reach your full retirement age, the rules are more generous. You can earn up to $65,160 in the months before your birthday without penalty. And for every $3 you go over that amount, you lose $1 of benefits. Once you hit your full retirement age, these limits disappear completely. You can earn as much as you want without affecting your Social Security. Changes even. Full retirement age permanently at 67. And finally, this is permanent. If you were born in 1960 or later, your full retirement age is 67. That's the age where you get 100% of what you've earned. If you claim Social Security at 62, the earliest you can, you'll get 30% less than your full benefit. But if you wait until age 70, you'll get 24% more than you would have at 67. So timing really matters when it comes to claiming your benefits. Let me break down who needs to pay attention to which changes. Retirees. All 7 changes impact you to some degree, but especially the COLA increase, Medicare premium hike, and earnings limits. If you're still working people on SSDI, you're looking at that 44.4 average increase. The Medicare increase, if you have Part B, and those are critical substantial gainful activity limits if you're trying to work at all. SSI recipients, the maximum benefit increase affects you directly, and since SSI doesn't automatically deduct Medicare, your situation is slightly different from Social Security recipients, working seniors. If you're still earning income while receiving benefits, those earnings limits in change number 6 are critical for you moms and caregivers. If you're caring for children or grandchildren while on benefits or receiving benefits as a caregiver, these changes affect your household budget planning. Veterans, if you're receiving both VA disability and Social Security, these changes impact your Social Security portion. VA benefits operate on their own schedule. You know, I was talking to a subscriber last week. Let's call her Sharon. Sharon is 68, living on $1,547 a month from Social Security. She was excited when she heard about the COLA increase, thinking maybe she'd finally be able to afford her medications without choosing between pills and groceries. Then she did the math. A 2.8% increase on her check is about $43. Medicare is going up by $10. So she's netting $33 extra per month. That's $1 a day. Now, I'm not saying $33 doesn't matter. Every dollar matters when you're on a fixed income. But Sharon's grocery bill has gone up way more than that. Her utility costs have increased. And that gap between what things cost and what Social Security provides just keeps getting wider. That's the reality we're dealing with. And it's why I'm so passionate about making sure you know about every single assistance program, discount, and resource available to you, because that's how we bridge the gap. Okay, I promised you good and bad. So let's talk about the good news. It is an increase. Yes, 2.8% feels small, but it's automatic. You don't have to apply for it, and it's something. In many countries, benefits don't adjust at all for inflation. The system is stable. Despite fear-mongering you might hear, Social Security is not going broke in 2026 or even in the next decade. The program is secure, and these adjustments prove it's working as designed. Resources exist to help. There are so many programs specifically designed to help people on fixed incomes: SNAP benefits, LIHEAP for energy assistance, extra help for prescription drug costs, state pharmaceutical assistance programs, and local resources through area agencies on aging. You can still maximize what you have. Even if you're already receiving benefits, there are strategies to boost your income, reduce your expenses, and make the most of what you have. That's literally what we do here every single week. All right, let's talk about what everyone's been asking about in the comments. Is there really a stimulus check coming? Who's getting it? When? Seniors on Social Security and disability benefits are included. Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri drafted legislation that models this stimulus after what was sent during the pandemic, meaning it's designed for everyone, men, women, children, and yes, seniors on fixed incomes. The proposal would give $2,000 per person, so a family of 4 would get $8,000. For and disability benefits should count toward that limit, not disqualify you from it.